Hi, and welcome to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Today, I want to ask, is it time to throw in the towel? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hey, if you have not yet, please check out kalehouser.com, and if you need to, book a call. There's an option at the very bottom to get on the calendar. We can chat for 20 minutes about whatever you've got going on in your business or I guess in your life if you need that, if I have something that I can help you with. And we'll, between Liz and I, we'll figure out a good game plan for you to move forward and tackle kind of whatever business leadership type of problems that you may be dealing with right now. So I'd love to talk to you, chat with you. If you don't feel comfortable getting on the phone, absolutely shoot me an email, kale@kalehouserleadership.com, and I would absolutely respond to you as soon as I can to that. Today's episode has me thinking a lot about this lately, right? And we all struggle with this. We all struggle with the concept of how long do I keep doing this thing, right? Especially when you're not seeing the results, you're not seeing the success. This could be trying to lose weight, working out. This could be quitting smoking, some sort of addiction, right? We all have these obstacles that we try to overcome through effort and through perseverance. And business is no different. Business is a little more, I guess, stark in its feedback. You're either getting clients, making money, increasing your revenue, or you're not. You're not getting clients. All your marketing is falling flat. You're not finding your ideal customers or anything of that nature. And the feedback that you are getting is like, this isn't right. And I wanted to ask that question of, when do we know when to throw in the towel? To use the sense of the boxing sense of throwing in the towel to call the fight. When somebody on the sidelines calls the fight for the fighter in the ring because it becomes apparent that there's no more shot, right? There's no more chance of victory. There's nothing left but just getting beat up and just getting hurt more and more and more, potentially lethally in the sense of boxing. But we've also kind of seen the Rocky movies. If you're of my age or younger or older, you probably grew up with the entire, 45 iterations of Rocky. And the constant lesson throughout that entire series, whether he's fighting Apollo or Drago or whatever the young kid's name that he had a street fight with, or talking to his son or even in the Creed movies, it's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how many times you get, I know I'm going to screw up, but it's about, basically getting back up, like getting hammered and hammered and hammered, but continuing to get up. And that's the theme through every fight that Rocky is in, is like, no matter what, boom, 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 boom. He's just getting annihilated by superior opponents, but he keeps getting back up, right? The Italian stallion just keeps standing back up and doesn't know when to quit. But then conversely, you take that into, like every UFC fight, not everyone, but many of them result in the tap out, right? I've just recognized I've been put in an inescapable position in a move, whether it be an arm bar or some sort of headlock or whatever that is, that the only option outside of getting your arm broken or going unconscious or anything of that nature is to tap out, right? The universal signal of submission, of I will stop fighting, I have given up, I concede any chance of victory to you, the superior opponent. And as we're talking about this, I want to put this in the perspective of business, right? We're not all UFC fighters. We're not all boxers in the ring to where we have that intense immediate feedback of getting punched and having to decide like, ow, that hurt. Do I get back up and do it more because I think I can punch more and harder or longer or whatever it is to eventually win this fight? But in business, it's a little more subtle sometimes, but it's also sometimes very dramatic in how you get punched and knocked down, right? You may have a customer that just says, your product sucks, or all this feedback of your product is breaking, or it's not working, whatever service it is that you provide, or it doesn't taste good, so people kind of quit ordering from you. You maybe went off the gates real running because there was excitement and fervor for your product out of the gate. But as people gained experience with it and started using it and understanding the drawbacks of it, especially in today's age where you can pretty much review anything online between Yelp and Google and Amazon and all those different places, people have the opportunity to provide that feedback, and more people provide negative feedback usually than do positive, especially when it truly is negative, and deservedly so. But how do you decide when you are faced with that feedback and that criticism and those obstacles, when to keep going versus when to throw in that towel, to admit total defeat, to tap out and say, okay, I've recognized this isn't working. I've recognized that whatever I was trying, whatever I was doing, whatever I made, whatever I'm producing in some form, fashion, or manner is not meeting the expectations or the needs of my intended marketplace. And that's something that, maybe you've never had to deal with this. Maybe you hit that home run, boom, right out the gate. And you're like, sweet, life is awesome. I'm getting all these clients and sales. I kind of, figured out the formula, and I've got my magic recipe going, and it's just working and it's churning. And now it's just a matter of, how do you grow and expand and build instead of how do you develop and get known in your marketplace. But I'm specifically talking about when that's not the case. When you are putting in the effort, you're doing everything to do. You've sought out consultants, you've sought out outside agencies to help you, advice from other people that should know more than you, have more experience and have seen it and done it before, and you're trying to emulate and you're trying to reproduce what they're doing and mimic it as far as, the steps they took for their success, but it's not coming. It's not happening for you. You've gone through the self-analysis of, is this the right product? Is this the right industry? Is this the right time? Am I doing the right things to get known? Like all those things that go into, launching, sustaining, whatever your business is, but you're not getting that feedback of like, hey, this is viable. This is going to work. This is going to be a success for you in whatever fashion that looks like for you. It may not be, I'm going to be a 20 million, 100 million, $1 billion industry, but maybe, can I make $80,000 a year to pay my rent? Can I make $200,000 a year to actually take a vacation with my family at some point? Like whatever that looks like for you. And it's a difficult decision. There is no, XYZ quit or XYZ continue, right? And if this is what you're expecting, and hoping for, I apologize in advance for the little bit of false advertising, but I don't know. I don't know what that looks like for you. I'm struggling with it myself because there's a lot of things that I am doing and have done that hasn't at all worked, to my supreme disappointment. But then I keep going back to, the Grant Cardone is, one of our mentors and somebody that we've learned a lot from of, the only way to fail is to quit. The only way to fail is to quit in business. But then I look at that, and I take it the next level deeper because it is absolutely true. But there's a point, especially in business, where money runs out, right? There's a point where no bank will give you any more credit to continue producing those widgets or to pay your staff, or, there's a point where there are no, or the PPP loans, the stupid pandemic loans, right? That you can just freeload off of the government. Even unemployment runs out eventually, right? You can't just keep going and trying and banging your head against the wall forever. There's at some point where you have to recognize either what you're doing is never going to work, or what you're doing in the manner you're doing it isn't working, and then figuring out, well, am I going, right? Having that faith, having that little bit of belief and that commitment. Can I figure this out? Is this right piece correct in that my processes are just broken and I just haven't figured out that right process yet to make this successful? Or am I incapable of those processes? Do I not have what it takes to step into that ring? Right? I know I do not have what it takes beyond the physical, right? Because you can change your physical body. I do not have what it takes to step into a UFC ring or a boxing ring in any sort of seriousness. I don't have it up here. I don't have it mentally. Like there's nothing in me that has the faith or belief or the mental fortitude or commitment to do something like that. And I use the boxing analogy because it's a common one, Rocky and all those types of things, but business is no different. Do you have the mental fortitude? Do you have the dedication and the commitment to go through those hard times, to commit to your success when maybe all indicators are saying you're not going to be successful? And when faced with that, and you've done the honest analysis, you've done the, either yes or no, my product is viable. Yes or no, well, my product sucks. Yes or no, my pizza tastes good or is horrible, right? Did I open a high-end vegan not Jello shot, high-end vegan like vitamin shooter place in one of the poorest neighborhoods that would never spend that kind of money on that stuff, right? Like there are points where there is an incompatibleness and there's just virtually, if almost guaranteed, no chance for success, right? We see it every day when businesses go out of business. But is it time to throw in the towel for you now? And if not now, if you do see that, what is it that's going to change in the future that will make it to where you can keep going, that will make it to where you don't have to throw in the towel, that somebody doesn't have to step up and throw in the towel for you? Because there is a difference between listening to people who have never done anything with their life, telling you that you will never do anything in your life and persevering through that, right? They're the ones telling you to quit and all this kind of stuff, but you have that belief, you've got your systems and processes and your product and service, whatever that is, and you persevered, because you're growing and learning and you see a path to your success versus, you've been doing this for so long with zero viability of success. And somebody steps in and says, hey, we're not all meant to be Rockies. There aren't that many Rockies in the world. We're not all meant to, be these amazing, whatever it is in your industry. This business owner, some people literally don't have what it takes. And I'm not trying to discourage you from, going after it, because absolutely you have to go after it. If you don't understand that going into it, you shouldn't start to begin with. But I think most of everyone that's listening to my type of podcast, they're already either in it or they're beginning it, right? They've committed and they've decided to that. But I want you to, because it will come where you have to kind of face that decision of, is this working? Is this worth it? Do I want to continue doing this? How can I change? What are some variables that I can adjust in order to get the success that I started out trying to achieve? Whatever that is, revenue or customers or, whatever that looks like for you. So as you think about that of, is it time for me to throw in the towel? Don't do it haphazardly when things do get just a little bit hard. Do it if you end up needing to do that, because, it's just plainly evident. Do it with an alternative plan. Do it with this is what I learned, this is what I'm not going to repeat, and this is how I'm going to move forward with it, right? Because there is a difference between just throwing in the towel and giving up versus throwing in the towel and pivoting or transitioning into something different, something new, something more viable, something based off of the lessons that you learned from those previous failures that caused you to kind of rethink your plan. Okay, so that's my encouragement at the end, is not every throwing in the towel has to be total failure. It has to be total defeat. It doesn't have to be, some fighters do tap out in certain fights and then they get up and, a month later or however long in between UFC fights, they come back, they take their licks, they get back to work and they do their training and they figure out what went wrong. This happens in every wrestling match across the country, like actual, not WWE wrestling, but like wrestling, collegiate wrestling, high school wrestling. They analyze, they watch tapes, they go, man, yeah, this is where I moved my arm wrong and my opponent, because they were more intelligent or more experienced than I, took advantage of it and put me in that arm bar or that headlock, whatever it is. And I know now not to do that. I've learned. I don't have to, just because I got beat in that one area, I don't have to continue to get beat in that same area over and over and over. Okay. So that's my encouragement to you is, as long as you learn something, and it's a kind of a little bit of a cliche saying, we've probably heard it all, it's not a failure if you've learned something. So don't take it as that. Okay. But also, on the flip side, if you've done that analysis and realized, like, man, this isn't going to work, then, come up with a plan, come up with something that is more viable after you, maybe do some more market research or whatever that is. And like I said, book a call on kalehouser.com. We'd love to, if you're in this position right now, I'd love to talk to you about it, and I can offer, my 2 cents on it if that's what you'd like, or even just a sounding board of like, this is really hard, and I can give you that thumbs up and keep going, bro or ma'am. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining me tonight. I hope that you're finding these talks beneficial, and we'll talk to you soon. No matter where you're at in the world, have a fantastic afternoon. Bye.